Now, lastly, I want to talk about the spiritual layer. Prana is another word for life force. Okay. You cannot, oops, hang on, friends. If you're unmuted by accident, could you mute yourself? Somebody's unmuted and I can't quite see who. So just check your mics, please. Friends, we can't generate clean, steady life force energy out of a depleted body. We can't settle into anything larger when your ferritin is 17. Think of prana as life force, or some might call it the divine, some call it God, nature, the force if you're a Star Wars fan. I am. So whatever word you use, your spiritual nature, friends, your true spiritual essential nature is not simply a set of beliefs. It is your own direct experience, and experience is embodied. We are here. One of our privileges of our lifetime is to get to embody the transcendent. But if your ferritin is at 17, which remember, many conventional doctors are going to call acceptable, but the functional medicine world knows it isn't, you're going to feel like you're dragging. And when my iron was so low, literally, with no exaggeration, it felt like I was dying. When your ferritin's on the floor, when your cortisol goes flat and your gut is inflamed, everything that you give to your family, to your work, to your practice, it costs you a lot more than it should. You cannot pour from an empty vessel, and your vessel is your body. Now, I say this as somebody who has been teaching spiritual practices for a living for many decades. When your physiology is off and your body is depleted, your body is no longer an environment that can hold spirit consistently or long enough for you to feel a sustained relationship with it. Unsupported, the relationship with spirit stops becoming a direct experience, and it now ends back up in the world of theoretical. For a lot of women in midlife that experience this spiritual crisis, they often then start spending more excessive time online. Maybe they reach for a second glass of wine. More. Catherine, sweetie, can you mute yourself? Thanks, hun. Women sometimes end up spending more excessive time online. Extra glass of wine, more carbohydrates or more sugar than you used to have. Not because you're like, oh, this is the better lifestyle, but because you don't have the energy left to live engaged in your own real life. Like, you literally don't have the energy. And I will tell you, as somebody that has trained thousands of yoga teachers on planet Earth in many yoga teacher trainings, sound baths cannot raise somebody's ferritin. Yin yoga does not resolve anxiety driven by low progesterone. And breath work can't steady blood sugar while cortisol is pouring glucose in from the inside. And we can't yoga nidra our ferritin levels up. All right, these practices that I love, I support, I teach are beautiful. And for many women in midlife, think of the midlife women as the largest group drawn to spiritual practices. For many of these women, they're keeping them afloat. They're treading water practices, but they don't deepen us in a sustainable way in our experience with divinity. That doesn't happen until the body itself is resourced. These are literal treading water practices until you attend to your physiology. Now, when a midlife woman's body becomes resourced, something shifts that like nothing else compares and nothing else can touch it. When a midlife woman's body is resourced properly, your nervous system naturally settles on its own. The rest you get naturally actually restores you. Again, I stand in my conviction that we are here to embody the transcendent. And friends, the transcendent can't hang out in a body that's under-resourced. And through my lens, a stable nervous system is the doorway to your soul. Now, the mimics. This is the part that I want you to carry out of this hour. If you're living with fatigue that sleep doesn't touch, hair loss, brain fog, anxiety that just keeps increasing, weight that doesn't move, or a flatness about your own life, and bloating, please hear this list. Low ferritin can look and act like depression. When ferritin is in the teens or 20s or the 30s, everything is going to feel like it's a push no matter how much you rest. The light can feel like it's actually going out in your eyes. Now, low progesterone looks and acts like anxiety because it's the hormone of calm, and it's the first to go often in our late 30s. Hashimoto and low thyroid look and act like burnout. Low estrogen looks and acts like brain fog or early dementia. High cortisol looks and acts like anxiety, insomnia, and weight that doesn't budge even when you change what you eat. And low testosterone looks and acts like not really caring about anything. Remember, that was me. A or B, I don't really care. Okay, this is not a spiritual crisis. This is all biochemistry.